In this episode, we talk about why your reaction matters. Get excited, because this is Tiny Leaps. Big change. Welcome to another episode of Tiny Leaps, Big Changes, where I share simple strategies you can use to get more out of your life. My name is Greg Clunis, and in this episode, we are looking at a concept around life, essentially, and how much our reactions matter. So the overall idea here is very straightforward. Life is, and there have been a number of people who have said this in some version, life is 10%, maybe 20% about what is happening, and 90-80% your reaction to it, right? So this is such an interesting concept because we all sort of live in a reactionary state. We all have things happening to us, happening around us, happening for us in our lives, and then we are reacting to that. I think that's a fairly normal way to live our lives. And as a result of that, you end up seeing this situation play out where if things go too far, then you end up being a reactionary. You end up purely living your life based on reactions. Like something happens, you react to that. And in that state, you're not guiding your life. You're not moving anything forward purposefully. You're just reacting to what's going on, or you're waiting for something to happen in order to react to it, right? So that's one extreme. The other extreme is that you are completely oblivious to what's going on and purely trying to move things in a certain direction. And here's the thing, both of those extremes do not work. Both of those extremes are completely useless to you. If you are purely in a reactionary state and you are never guiding your life in a particular direction, you're going to wake up 50 years from now and realize, you know what? I'm not that happy with the life I lived. Why? Because you didn't live it. You just reacted to everybody else's life. And then on the other end, if you are purely oblivious to what's going on around you, you're purely oblivious to the world and everyone else's role in it, and you're just trying to push your life in a particular direction, then you're never going to get there because so many obstacles are going to pop up that you're just not going to be able to react to. So ultimately, we need to find this balance. Life is 10% of what happens and 90% our reaction. There's a few ways to look at that idea. You want to find that middle ground where something happens and you're able to react to it, but you're actually guiding your life in a direction. You're moving things forward, and as things come in, you're reacting and changing course and pivoting and figuring out what you need to do next to keep yourself moving in the direction you ultimately want to go, or to change the direction you're going, because sometimes something big enough happens that you realize this isn't actually the direction I want to go in. So that's the first big way to look at it. The second is that life is how we react ultimately. Things happen, and those things are neutral. Quite frankly, we add emotion to it. We react negatively or positively to that thing, but that thing still happened. That is the fact of the matter. That is the only concrete piece of the situation. This thing happened. From there, we can choose, do we get angry? Are we happy? Are we sad? Are we hurt? Are we upset? Are we scared? And then what do those emotions lead to? Are we taking certain actions? And then those actions lead to other people reacting to us. So life is all about reaction. Everybody is reactionary. When we recognize that and we start to control our reactions and we start to move the train forward in the direction we want it to go in, we're still going to react. But we're choosing what our reaction is. We're choosing what this thing means to us. That's when we take control of our life. That's when we're able to build a better life. Life is 10% what happens, 90% our reactions. We can choose to live a life on the extremes of just reacting to everything and being a reactionary, or the extreme of completely being oblivious to everything around us and never reacting. Or we can choose to find that middle ground where we react with purpose. We react in order to move forward. We react by choice. We control the life that we live and the reactions that happen around us by controlling who we are and the reactions that we have. Because if we react a certain way, that's going to trigger everyone else to react to us in certain ways. And if we can control the reaction we have, then to some degree, the options of reactions everyone else has to us is within our control as well. Now, do we know how they're going to play out? Absolutely not. We never will. But we know the range that they might fall in. We know that if we react positively to something, all the people around us reacting to us, it's not necessarily going to be an extreme negative reaction. We know the range that it might fall in. Some might be negative, but they're not going to be extreme negative. If we react extremely negative to somebody else, then all the people reacting to us might be extremely negative. We are setting the tone. So ultimately, there's a few things I want you to get from this. Number one, living on the extremes of being a complete reactionary, which is what most of us do and we live our lives blindly, or being a complete control freak where we don't react to anything but we just try to push our lives forward. Neither of those options work. The goal is middle ground. The goal is how can we control our reactions in order to control the direction that we push this cart, that we push this train forward? How can we make sure that our reactions set the tone for everyone else around us to react to us? That is the big question. And ultimately what it comes down to is we have to control our reactions. We have to choose when we react. We have to choose when we don't react. And we have to choose the scale to which our reactions happen. If we can do that, then we gain a significant amount of control over the lives we lead every day, and therefore a significant amount of control over the futures that we build. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this sparked something in you, some nugget of an idea that might take you forward into the week ahead. Thank you so much for tuning in. I've been Greg Clunis. Be sure to click subscribe wherever you're tuning in. And if you haven't joined us on YouTube yet, head over to youtube.com/Greg Clunis. I appreciate you. And remember that all big changes come from the tiny leaps you take every day.